Hi friends, this is the Bijou Baker. I'm Maria. Today we are going to have some fun. We're going to make some icing. I love cooking. I love baking, but when I get to decorate, boy, I'm in a different level all on its own. This recipe is a very basic buttercream, and it's the one that you're going to really want to get down. It's so easy. There's only two dry ingredients it's so easy. You're going to want to get this down, and this is what's going to help you with your cake decorating. The sugar in it is going to give it a good crust in time, and that's going to make it easier for you to maneuver, and you can actually hold them. They're not going to get as hard as like royal icing, which I will show you in another episode, but this is going to be dry enough. Like if you let it, you make a rose, and I'll show you how to make a rose in another video. You make a rose and you let it dry. By tomorrow, you're able to lift it up gently and put it on your cakes until you get used to using the scissors and those other techniques I promised to show you. So for this, all you need is shortening or butter, powdered sugar, vanilla, and some milk. Now, shortening or butter. If you're doing a cake and you want a real white icing, you want to use all shortening. The fats are basically the same. If you're doing a cake where it's going to be indoors, you're going to have desserts, you're going to have a birthday party inside, and I would mix half butter and half shortening. But if you're going outside and it's going to be hot and the cake's going to be sitting there for a few hours, I'd really try to avoid the butter at all costs, because the butter will start to break down and start to soften and start to melt, and your cake will start to sag. You don't want that, especially when it's time, because you always make a production when it's time to cut the cake for a birthday or wedding or whatever. So you need your cake to hold its shape until those picture opportunities are done. So keep those in mind. Butter adds a little bit of a better flavor, but for right now, let's just stick with the shortening. Okay. Another trick with the milk. Now, I'm going to give you the recipe. It's not my recipe. It's one that is just known everywhere because it's so basic and it's good. Milk is what you're going to use to make it wet and to get it creamy. Here's a couple things that you can do to take it up just another notch. Remember, I say if there's any time you can level flavor or layer flavor, do it. So if you took coffee creamer, flavored coffee creamer instead of milk, that's going to give you just a little bit of flavor. You're not going to use a whole lot of liquid. So it's not going to really, let's say peppermint. It's not going to give you a whole lot of peppermint taste, but it's just enough there where it's a nice taste. I will show you how to steep cream to really bring out some bolder peppermint for like Christmas time. If you want a chocolate cake with peppermint icing, like I said, I don't like that artificial imitation flavoring, so I'm gonna use the good stuff wherever I can, and if I have to use that artificial flavoring, I'll do it, but I'm gonna try not to, and so I'm gonna show you the options. All right, so I'm gonna get let's see what you need. You need a sieve, something to sift your powdered sugar in. The reason you're going to sift your powdered sugar is because you really need it fine. It doesn't come, it's a fine sugar, but it lumps. And depending on how old it is, those lumps can stay a while, and we want to get rid of all of them. So we're going to sift it, get a nice light powdered sugar to put into our shortening. This is the measuring cup I had showed you once before. I looked it up for you. It is called a push-up measuring cup, and you can get it on Amazon. I don't think I did. Maybe I did. I've had it for so long, I don't remember, but you can get it on Amazon. I think it's under about $10, and it's really great. Like I said, for shortenings and syrups and honey, that kind of stuff, this is the best thing to use. It's just clean and easy, and I like that. So all right, let's get started. Hair's up, hands are washed, we're gonna rock, okay? I'm gonna take you over to the mixer and talk through all the steps that we're gonna go. Really simple, I promise you, okay? Sorry, one other thing. Before I get you to the mixer, I want to show you how I'm going to measure my powdered sugar, because I buy them in a bag because they're easier. This is a 2-pound bag, so each pound has 4 cups, so this has 8 cups. I just need half. I'm going to flatten it down, and I'm going to estimate about half. I'm going to shake the sugar on both sides. And I'm just going to cut it. That's it. I've got enough for 2 recipes here. I'm telling you, I told you, I like easy. I like easy. Another thing that I do when I'm going to sift, and I know I have a lot to sift, or if I'm going to, well, no, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter if I have a lot or not. When I'm going to sift, I want it right. I always am going to sift on parchment paper, so then I can fold it into my mixer. I don't like wasting. That's an absolute truth. So lining a parchment paper, or taking parchment paper for every time I sift, that can really waste. So I get one and I reuse it. I wipe it dry. It's just powder or flour, either way. I wipe them dry and I put them in an old paper towel holder. That's it. So, and I keep it in my drawer so it stays flat and it's ready to go each and every time. So let me sift this. Bear with me just a minute. Sorry. All right. So I've showed you, I've got to weigh this down because it does curl up. That's the thing about it, but that's all right. I'd rather have it curl and usable than have to start over. So, all right. So I'm just going to sift. And it's funny because as exact as baking is, when it comes to this, it really doesn't have to be exact because the sugar, you see that fine powder coming out? So let me go ahead and work on this. Okay, you see these little balls on the bottom? I still want those. I'm just going to push them all the way through because it's still, these are the balls that would get into your icing and make it very, well, it could clump up, and the last thing you want are clumps in your icing because you don't know what you're going to do. I mean, you're doing it to make a border. Okay, chances are, if you got a wide tip, it's not gonna clump up. But if you're writing or you have a rose, you don't. That clump will come right at the worst time. I'm telling you. All right, now if you wanted to make this a chocolate buttercream icing, this is where you would sift in 3/4 of a cup of cocoa powder into your powdered sugar and just sift them all together and get them mixed and married well. And that's your chocolate buttercream, and it's really quite yummy. So we are going over to the mixer. All right, I'm gonna put in my 1 cup of shortening. Perfect. And I'm just going to mix this just a little bit. I lied. I'm going to mix it good. And the thing, I love my mixer. I love my mixer, but on the bottom, that little divot down there, that collects. That just starts to really collect what you're making, whether it's cookie or cake or icing. It just gets down to the bottom there, and you have got to move it to keep that clean. All right, I'm going to add in my powdered sugar. Now I'm going to do it a little at a time. I don't know if I showed you. You know what? I'm not. I'm gonna I'm going to put it all in at one time, and then I'm going to show you another trick. Okay, and for the record, had I got shortening on this, I would have tossed that parchment paper. All right, so with the if you don't have a dust guard, a flower guard, one of the things that you can use is, I don't remember if I showed you or not, I'm sorry, is a towel. So you're going to put it, I did think I did show you, and then you're just going to very gently start it, I think. Okay, and just do it a couple times until the flour, until the powdered sugar doesn't poof out. Now, it's gonna keep mixing, and it's gonna work this mixer. It's gonna get really dry. That's all right, don't worry about it. I'm gonna let this mix for just a bit. Can you hear that mixer? It's putting some effort into it now. That's all right, you can handle it. I'm gonna pick it up, and this is where I'm gonna add the vanilla. Again, if you wanted pure white icing, they do have a white vanilla, a clear vanilla. All right, I'm going to scrape this. Man, that's thick. That is so thick. It feels like mortar. It's funny to think that such a little bit of milk will do magics to this, but it will, I promise. All right, so while I have it down, I am going to add, two tablespoons. I'll start off with 2. It's easier to add more later than to try to take out. I'm going to scrape it just because I can see that it's going to be good. 2 tablespoons is going to be pretty good here, but let me go ahead and just get everything in there. And then I'm going to really crank up the speed on this. But I kind of want to do all of this scraping right now so it can do its magic. All right, here we go. Well, it just doesn't want to play. I turned it on too fast. Okay, so can you see the consistency? It's really nice. It's not lumpy and it's not airy. It's thick, but it's interesting. You always hear me say that air is the enemy of food, but when it comes to learning how to make your roses and such, it's going to be your ally, because it's going to show you how to be able to work with it and handle it. So in the next video, I'll show you how to actually start writing and piping and holding your bag and filling your bag and doing all the stuff that the decorators do without even thinking anymore. So you'll see, it's just natural. All right, my friends, until next time, happy baking. Bye. Ah, that was fun. Don't forget to like and subscribe.